Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com. California district to pay $360,000 to a teacher who got fired for not following transgender policies. The Jurupa Unified School District denies any illegal action or discrimination against Jessica Tapia, a former physical education, so was a PE teacher in the Southern California district. And I bet I know why she didn't go along, because they wanted to allow biological males in the women's dressing room, I'm sure, locker room. I'm sure that's what it is. Well, let's listen to a little interview she did.
So the school district was asking me to, from there on out, refer to students by their preferred pronoun or gender. They were asking me to withhold that information from their parents, which I clarified. Are you asking me to lie to parents? And they said yes, for student safety and privacy.
So that's, I just think that's a bad policy. We're going to talk about it in our next story. To have teachers lied to their students' parents about anything.
Well, isn't that giving the state the right to take control of your children's life?
It seems like it.
I'm not into that.
Hey, if the kid wants to lie to the parent, that's up to them. Okay, here we go.
And then they were also asking me to allow transgenders into my female locker room. I was in the unique position of being a PE teacher, so I oversaw a female locker room. And again, clarified, are you asking me to let boys in my girls' locker room? And they said, if he is identifying as a female now, then yes.
So where do you draw the line?
How about protecting the girls?
What if the biological male pops a boner? Is that okay? I'm serious. What do you think, Chris? Right? Is that enough to kick him out, or do they have to just let him/her walk around doing Star Wars noises? Okay, here we go.
You said, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I simply, pushed back and said, no, these things, violate my personal held beliefs and faith. And so I will come back to work, but there are a few directives you've given me now that I cannot comply with. And so from there, they said, well, it sounds like you're asking for a religious accommodation. So come on in and we'll see if and how we can accommodate you. So I went through that meeting where I was questioned up and down on my Christian faith. And the result of that was that the school district decided they cannot accommodate my religious beliefs and were therefore firing me.
Do you consider this settlement a victory? I mean, the district has not admitted wrongdoing. She's not allowed to work in the district any longer.
Absolutely. It's an incredible victory. The amount of the settlement, $360,000, we believe the school district would not have settled had they not thought they had done anything wrong. That's a significant amount of money, and it shows and it demonstrates to other school districts that there's a price to pay when you burden someone's religious freedoms and religious convictions.
So what this means is that the school district didn't want to go to court. They didn't want to have to defend this in front of a jury. That's what this means. Isn't that weird that you would have a policy that you'd be afraid to defend in court? Well, it's very revealing that they know that this is that people don't support this. This comes from the top down. Again, this doesn't come from the bottom up. This isn't grassroots policy.
School district did is they essentially presented their own type of religious test and told Jessica, you either have to comply with our own set of religious beliefs regarding these transgender policies, or you're no longer qualified to serve as a public school teacher. And the First Amendment protects against that type of religious test for public employees. And so Jessica took a stand, and the result was this incredible settlement victory. And so the school district can say that, this is not an admission of wrongdoing, but the bottom line is they are paying out $360,000 to Jessica as a result of their actions.
Okay, well, $360,000. What they're really doing is they're taking money out of the male tampon budget.
Huh.
for that school district. Am I right? Come on. So here, I'll give you the deets. Do you want the deets?
Yeah, give us the deets, Jim.
A Southern California school district reached an agreement to settle a 2023 lawsuit from a former teacher who refused to adhere to the district's gender identity-related policies. The settlement amounts to $360,000, with the Jurupa Unified District agreeing to pay $285,000 to Jessica and $75,000 for her attorney's fees. So she only gets $285,000. I wonder what her salary was. About what do you think? What do you think the PE teacher up in Jurupa?
Well, it depends how many years that she's to be
That's right.
teaching. So maybe she's making about $75,000 a year.
So they
with
paid
benefits?
her. So they paid her 1, 2, 3. What? I'm not good at math. The lawsuit alleged discrimination on the basis of religion following Tapia's termination from the school district for being unwilling to comply with several directives regarding transgender students. The directives, including referring to students by their preferred pronouns, allowing students to use bathrooms and locker rooms that match their gender identity, and refraining from expressing religious beliefs with students or on social media. That they settled because they knew they would lose this in court.
Yeah, because you have adults on the jury.
Yeah.
You have an adult as a judge.
That's
and
right.
who's going to watch? I just have to say this really quickly. But when I was a kid in high school, we had to go. I remember in middle school having to go in the locker room and change and shower.
It's bad enough with your own gender. It's bad enough. The Jurupa Unified School District said in a statement that the decision to settle the case was made in the best interest of the students, so the district can continue to dedicate all of its resources and efforts to educate and support its students' population, regardless of their protected class. The settlement agreement was finalized Tuesday. The district added that it continues to deny any illegal action or discrimination against Ms. Tapia. What? Of course they did. Why would you give her $360,000 if you didn't think you did anything wrong? And they have not admitted any fault or wrongdoing. I think by giving her $360,000, you are admitting that. Advocates for Faith and Freedom, a nonprofit law firm focused on protecting constitutional and religious liberty in the courts, filed the lawsuit on Tapia's behalf in 2023. The firm alleged Tapia was wrongfully terminated for her religious beliefs. People of faith should be allowed to maintain their personal beliefs without fear of losing their job, the vice president and legal counsel for the group said. Jessica Tapia was not dismissed for any wrongdoing. Rather, she was dismissed for her Christian beliefs. This is a clear violation of I don't know how much being a Christian has to do with this, because I would have got fired too, and I'm not a practicing Christian, that's for sure.
You're a crazy Catholic?
I was brought up crazy Catholic. Okay. As some teachers have pushed back on trans-inclusive school policies, how do they call it trans-inclusive? How about its female violating in policies? How about putting a biological male penis in a female locker room is not inclusive, but it's offensive. It's violating for females. Do you ever think of that? I don't know. Maybe you never thought of that.
Maybe females don't count.
LGBT, whatever happened to feminism and women's rights? It's all gone. LGBTQ advocates point to a growing body of research that has connected supportive school environments to better mental health. I'd like to see that research. For example, a 2018 study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health found that trans youth who could use accurate names and pronouns experienced 71% fewer symptoms of depression, a 34% drop in suicidal thoughts, and a 65% decrease in suicide attempts. Okay. That's what school's about today. This is what school's all about today. You gotta... Julianne Fleischer, legal counsel for Advocates for Faith and Freedom, said the settlement serves as a reminder that religious freedom is protected no matter your career. As part of the settlement, Tapia is unable to seek reemployment in the district. Really? Why is that, you think? Just because she's getting paid way more than all the other teachers are?
They don't want her kind of thinking to disrupt the learning environment. They don't want it to catch
That's right.
on.
They don't want it to catch on.
They don't want pushback from the faculty.
We certainly don't want teachers expressing controversial opinions.
That's right.
Because that might accidentally encourage students to think for themselves. And how can you form a new army for all your upcoming mores with students who can actually see what's going on in the present time? They make very bad workers also. What happened to me can happen to anybody. That's true. And I want the next teacher to know that it is worth it to take a stand for. Sure, it's worth it. 360 grand worth, eh? During a meeting with district representatives in September, Tapia received a notice of unprofessional conduct that issued 12 allegations against her, including expressing controversial opinions on issues pertaining to gender identity and posting offensive content on her public Instagram account. Really? Now they're policing. This is really something. Tapia said her faith precludes her from endorsing policies that cause her to reject her faith, such as facilitating a student's gender transition or withholding information about it from the student's parents. The complaint also stated that Tapia regularly posted about her religious beliefs and cultural issues on her personal social media pages, but did not identify herself as a teacher or an employee of the district. So that should be cool. So now they control you. Not only in the classroom, but out of the classroom. The school is supposed to control your behavior?
Uh-huh.
Wow. At the end of the 2021-22 academic year, Tapia was placed on administrative leave. She then took a medical leave of absence following the meeting with district representatives because the directives pertaining to gender identity caused her to suffer severe mental and emotional anguish. Right back at you. She was fired after that in January 2023. Because Ms. Tapia was unable to comply with I think it's great she calls herself Ms. Comply with the directives due to wasn't that a big victory for feminism?
Yes.
Due to her religious beliefs, she requested an accommodation from the district. The district refused to provide her with any accommodation and subsequently terminated her employment with the district. I'm not going to say that the school board seems blatantly spiteful and evil. Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com.